How's it going, people? Welcome back to the Lost Begotten channel. And today we're going to do some more celebrating. Because, 6 months later, might be too little too late, but I at least take a little bit of pleasure in being proven right again. And before I gloat, and possibly during and after my gloating, um, I want to draw your attention to something about Putin's support for the Assad regime. And I want to point out the difference between the American strategy and the genocide that Russia, basically Putin's idea of Russia that has often been Russia in general. I want to show you how they do business. I want to show you the wide scale destruction of what happens when you hear that they, launched rockets or something at a village or bombed a village or attacked a village, moved towards a village, because this really all they have to do is move towards the village. And then they erase it. It's not slowed down or anything. That's just how one barrage looks. A few trucks pull up and they launch their launch their rockets. Now they launch their rockets, and that's how it looks when they fall. This is how it looks when they're going up. My sincerest thanks to the War Leaks channel, one of the absolute best places for gathered information. Raw cell phone video from people all over the world. This guy goes around and finds it and posts it. Usually the best quality, too. So yeah, they just keep firing and firing. That was at a different location. Here's another location. Oh, wait, excuse me. This is, you can see. So that's the tail end of the last few rockets going up. When they first start out, there's a lot of them, and then the last few, all of them fire out like that. And what goes up must destroy a village. And yeah, it looked a little similar. I checked into it. That's a different village. Was. That was a different village. So now that I got your attention, I hope I did get your attention with that. Because I want to be very, very serious. I'm not fucking around on this channel, and I'm not fucking around with my criticism of other channels on here. Because that's what they're turning a blind eye to. Okay. Meanwhile, you may have heard me say that Dagestanis, why Dagestan? I don't know why Dagestan. Just intuitively know Dagestanis have been sent by Russia to the Middle East, and basically most of the Islamic State is either Chechens or Dagestani. The Chechens are the well-equipped looking ones. The Dagestanis are the rest of them, kind of. Well, the bulk of them that aren't basic, just, either Iraqi or Syrian Baathists that have always been very extreme Wahhabist. So, anyway. So now I've proven photographically that the Chechens were involved. We've proven financially that even since we pulled our troops out of Iraq, that Assad remains involved. By the way, it's long been proven that Assad was financing and supplying the terror groups that were blowing up Iraqi civilians and our troops in Baghdad marketplaces. Okay, and Barack Obama pulled our troops out of there because they didn't need to be standing around absorbing shrapnel for no damn reason. Okay, now we're fighting a war that really matters. And I welcome anyone who sees this to share this video, to spread the news that there's someone out there that actually, occasionally when he's done stuttering, gets to the bottom line about reality. Okay, because it astounds me how full of shit the general consensus perspective has become. Especially the whole conspiracy perspective. Man, they got y'all tuned in and tuned out. Got your blinders on, looking for a freaking conspiracy that doesn't exist. You want to see a bunch of rich people not competing against each other and cooperating to somehow decrease their sales base? Man, y'all need to get jobs or something. I honestly think a lot of these people's perspective comes from the lack of having ever worked for a living, or at least not at a management level. And that's funny, but it's true. So anyways, here we go with a report on Dagestan. And this is, I believe, the Canadian representative to one of the little strategic meetings they had recently in the Middle East. Anyway, let's listen to what he says.
And has geopolitical significance. Madam Speaker, the crisis we face, Madam Speaker, the crisis we face in Syria and Iraq has layers of complexity and has geopolitical significance. Currently, our allied war effort faces new and additional challenges posed by a significant ramping up of involvement
Canadian Parliament
by Kremlin President Putin. As we've learned in recent years, Putin's stated intent and actions are often diametrically opposite. Instead of bombing Daesh, the vast majority of bombs unleashed by the Russian military land on anti-Assad forces and civilian neighborhoods. The Kremlin, while expanding existing and adding to the number of Russian naval and air force military bases in Syria, continues to test NATO partner Turkey's resolve. Problematically, while for the most part avoiding bombing Daesh, the FSB, Russia's intelligence services, has been funneling hundreds of fighters from Dagestan into Daesh's ranks. A recent investigation by Novaya Gazeta, one of the few independent newspapers left in Russia, hundreds of fighters from Dagestan into Daesh's ranks. A recent investigation by Novaya Gazeta, one of the few independent newspapers left in Russia, based on extensive Dagestan, while for the most part avoiding bombing Daesh, the FSB, Russia's intelligence services, has been funneling hundreds of fighters from Dagestan.
So, everything that Putin does is inconsistent with not only what he says, but what I've identified as Russian propaganda channels here on YouTube. They give one story, he does something else. Okay? And the reason I point this out is because the conspiracy channels who don't really cover this kind of thing, their general worldview, their general perspective is one that is in complete coalescence, in tandem, in perfect alignment with those channels that take Putin's word for everything, that repeat the words of the defiler himself.
Into Daesh's ranks. A recent investigation by Novaya Gazeta, Russia's intelligence services, has been funneling hundreds of fighters from Dagestan into Daesh's ranks. A recent investigation.
That's where Peter was from. That's what the thing with the painting was about. I know. I painted.
By Novaya Gazeta, one of the few independent newspapers left in Russia, based on extensive field work by Elena Milashina, has concluded that, and I quote, Russia's special services have controlled the flow of jihadists into Syria. Russia has now become the third biggest source country for foreign Daesh fighters. The FSB's establishment of a green corridor is meticulously documented by Novaya Gazeta, from FSB recruiters to supply of travel documents, funnels potential terrorists who, instead of causing trouble and blowing things up in Russia,
you know, as opposed to Syria and Iraq where they're from, they've mostly been coming from Russia.
Novaya Gazeta has now become the third biggest source country for foreign Daesh fighters. The FSB's establishment of a green corridor is meticulously documented by Novaya Gazeta, from FSB recruiters to supply of travel documents, funnels potential terrorists who, instead of causing trouble and blowing things up in Russia, militarily engage NATO forces.
Now, let's be clear. And first, I want to thank this guy right here. I believe this is his channel, if I'm not mistaken. And, okay. Recently, it's been uncovered that some passports made by an actual government passport machine that can only be obtained by a government, so must have been given to or sold to Islamic State by an government. Okay, now, Russia in every way has been logistically, financially covering their asses. Russian hackers have been covering their asses. Where do you think they got that passport machine from? I don't think Assad has a large enough empire, large enough infrastructure in general to just go handing out fucking passport machines. But there is someone who's involved with all this at a seemingly very deceptive level, one can logically deduce, that just happens to be able to spare a passport machine or two and has done it in the past. Libya.
This has, in the Kremlin's view, the added benefit of making impossible a Qatari gas pipeline through Syria and Turkey to Europe, so as not to challenge Russia's gas chokehold of Western European gas markets.
Now, a little shout out to all the conspiracy channels who I used to very much agree with. Okay, if you're watching this, I want you to know something. Okay, I used to think, like you probably may still do, that Chevron, Texaco, Exxon Mobil, aka Standard Oil Trust, was basically the biggest oil company that ever was and ever will be. Well, I have 8 words for you. Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. And that's all I have to say about that. No. That's not all I have to say about that. The largest company in the world used to be Gazprom, a Russian state company, temporarily under the control of an oligarch. Then Putin had this company called Rosneft set up directly under the state, directly under him. Now Rosneft is the biggest, and Gazprom is the second biggest oil company in the world. And the implications for that on conspiracy analysis in general are quite staggering. Now, speaking of conspiracy analysis, Chechnya has been covered. Okay, if you want to go see fake provocations about Georgia and South Ossetia and Abkhazia, there's all kinds of different little conspiracies about that. But since I'm covering Dagestan right now, I wanted to point out something interesting, because around the time that, well, after several months actually of me saying Dagestan was one of the source countries for slave armies from the, whatever the fuck empire this is, King of the North. Well, here's the deal. They go and post this, okay, like Russia kind of releases this footage. WarLeaks reposts it. God bless you, WarLeaks. Thank you, WarLeaks. Love these guys. They've been having trouble with monetization issues for the same titling things that I've had. So anyways, well, this is supposed to be, as it says, they're battling Dagestani militants. Okay? So let's look at this, shall we? Let's see if this is real or fake. Let's see if this is a training exercise where they're just shooting in fucking dirt, and these are just Russian trucks shooting at a bunch of dirt, just a big, pretty mountain shooting range, and they're saying it's a battle with militants. It's a movie. It's one of many movies. They do a lot of movies. I mean, big production, theatrical type stuff. If you know anything about Vladimir Putin, he loves to be theatrical. Even in diplomacy with Condoleezza Rice, Colin Powell, he loves to be theatrical. Okay, so let's see if this is theatrical or if this is a real battle, real militant. Oh, look, they killed some dirt. Bad dirt. That bush over there, it bit its leaf at me. I do not bite my leaf at you, sir, but I can't bite my leaf because I'm a plant. Plants can't bite anything. Oh, killed some more dirt. Look how nice and clean and well pressed their uniforms are. Fucking backpack ain't even dirty. Gun ain't even dirty. Gun ain't even dirty. Look at that. Oh, they must have one of them nanotechnology cleaning robots that just kind of hovers around while they kill dirt. Kill that dirt. Bad dirt. Bad dirt. Wow, that was fascinating. They got on the microphone. Hey, make it look real. Make it look like there's something actually there shooting back at you. Hold your gun as such. It's fascinating, isn't it? Let's see another village. There's that first village. Sorry about the volume. That's a whole week's worth of mortars all at once, you know? This is what the shill channels just ignore. That's why I'm showing this to you. Taking my bragging rights and I'm using it to further inform you, just in case you haven't gone and searched for this yourself. Now watch these people's village get destroyed. I don't care if they're Muslims, I don't care if they're even Wahhabist Muslims. Even if they're Wahhabist Muslims, you know what? Some proper Christians could have converted probably half of them. And the rest of them would just have to live with their own misery. Because they would have had no hope of taking over. And eventually they'd have probably converted too. But you don't know what conversion is, because nobody knows what proper Christianity is anymore. This is the prophesied time, and I do mean nobody. Not until JQ, yours truly. That's not my cell phone, that's somebody else's cell phone. Remember how we saw those rockets? The last part of them rockets fire off a little bit slower. And they all start up real quick at first. What it looks like when they launch. Just you can see. That's probably 8 trucks. 8 trucks pull up. Might be 2 rows, might be 16. Are you starting to understand where the refugees are coming from? Are you starting to understand why these shill channels want to say that fucking war is fake? That things like this are fake? That Islamic State is fake? That the Syrian rebellion is fake? They want to say everything's fake because they're too chicken shit to deal with it. They're too chicken shit to deal with their little masters. That's what you get for trying to serve two masters. One is left with everything, and I am left with nothing. Just like those people were. So before I let you go, just read them couple of headlines right quick. You can find those videos and watch them. I highly recommend you subscribe to Ukraine Today. Stay up to date. And one of the few Eastern European English-speaking news channels. And that closer. Hey, look, it's closer. I'm over that. Thank you, everybody. I hope you like this video. Please click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel for news analysis, occasional breaking important news, and lots of interesting stuff that you probably don't know about and won't hear about anywhere else. Thanks a lot, everybody. Peace.